Welcome to Grant's Rock Warehouse, and tonight I want to welcome Rand Kelly back to the show. Tonight is episode 2 in our King's X series. We are covering the years 1994 to 2000. We've got like 4 albums to look at. Rand's here. Let's get started. This will be great. Thanks.
Grant is changing the world one track at a time on Grant's Rock Warehouse.
Welcome to Grant's Rock Warehouse, and tonight we are doing yet another episode in our King's X series. Tonight we are covering the years 1994 to 2000. So we're doing 4 albums. We're doing Dogman, Ear Candy, Tapehead, and Come Home, Mr. Bulbous. Dig that. Look who's here. It's Rand Kelly. He's back, and he's ready to talk King's X. Rand, how are you? Nice to see you.
Doing great, Grant. Always pleasure to be on your show.
Of course it is. I appreciate you here. People love you, Rand. I love you. You know I couldn't do this episode without you. So anyway, we're going to start this off. We're going to look at Dogman, which is the 5th studio album from King's X, released in 1994. Now, this record is not produced by Sam Taylor. This is Brendan O'Brien. So if you know Brendan O'Brien, he produced Stone Temple Pilots. He produced Matthew Sweet. Didn't he do some Pearl Jam? He produced quite a lot of people. Black Crowes. But anyway, this album I think is a little bit heavier. A lot of the fan base think that this is the best album from King's X. Well, we're going to find out. We've got Rand here, and Rand knows what the best album is. I'm going to turn it over to him to start talking about it. Rand, start us off with Dogman and let me know what you think about it.
Okay, well, the first thing I want to say about this album is it came out in 4 different colors: blue, green, red, and yellow. And I don't know if this happened to everybody else, but for some reason, my disc is yellow.
All the discs are yellow.
And the cover are blue. Oh, really? Okay, well, that solves that problem. Thank you. So I can't see the titles. Let's see here. Dogman, Shoes, Pretend, Flies in Blue Skies, Black the Sky, Fool You, Don't Care, Sunshine Rain, Complain, Human Behavior, Cigarettes, Go to Hell, Pillow, and Manic Depression.
Jimi Hendrix cover.
Live at Woodstock.
There's another thing about this. You know, they released 4 singles from this record. Dogman, Fool You, Pillow, and Pretend were all singles. And of course, they didn't do anything.
Right.
Nothing against King's X, but when you listen to King's X, I don't think of them as a singles band by any means. But
no.
The reviews for this, okay, I want to mention this. The Collector's Guide to Heavy Metal, Martin Popoff. We know and love Martin. He gave this a 10 out of 10.
Wow.
Martin digs. I wish we had Martin on here talking about it. But wow. I mean, this record got good reviews for the most part. Anyway, go ahead, Rand. Take it away. What's your thoughts on this record?
I put it away because I can't see the titles very well. I did read them once, but I have to put them in the light. But anyways, yeah, this album starts out so different. I mean, they left off with the 4th album, which is a self-titled album. And that's not a real heavy album, but it is good. I love it. It's my favorite King's X album. But this next album, Dogman, like you said, Sam Taylor's gone. So this Brendan O'Brien guy, what did he produce? Pearl Jam,
Matthew Sweet, Stone Temple Pilots. That gives you an idea what he had done.
He can be all over the map. But this is one of the heaviest freaking albums I've ever heard in my life. I mean, when that Dogman, just that big chord just hits, they're down-tuned. Everybody's down-tuned. The bass, Ty, and, to forget the drums. But anyways, this album is very, very heavy. It's the heaviest up to this point. It's the heaviest King's X album. I mean, it just brutal sounding. And also, Doug Pinnick sings a heck of a lot more lead vocals on this. Ty Tabor's doing a lot of harmonies with Jerry Gaskell, the drummer. But this is the Doug show here. Everything is literally Doug. And It's great. I mean, but all these songs are so good. I mean, God, it's kind of hard to just pick 'em apart. The one that stands out the most to me is Complain. I love Complain. It's just got a great driving beat, and the lyrics are very uplifting. They're talking about how people who make a living at complaining or something like that. But yeah, it's just great. This whole album is just, it took a while for me and my friend Bill to really get into this record because it was such a change from the Sam Taylor type stuff. But yeah, but if you dive deep into this, there's a lot to be had. There and the second song, Shoes, starts out with a 3-part harmony a cappella. And then that chord comes in, bam. It's just earth shaking. I mean, if you have the volume up enough. But yeah,
what do you think
this
that
album's killer.
it's killer, but when you initially listened to it then, you were used to all that Sam Taylor produced stuff. I mean,
Yeah,
did it take a while for you to grow into this record?
Not really me, but Bill he was like, oh, I don't know. He goes, what have they done? They lost their magic and all that. And I was kind of like tended to agree with everything he would say at the time in '94 because I was in a band with the guy. But it was like, you know what? I'm just going to give it my own time to listen to it and see what I think of it, as opposed to telling me what I should think of it. And I tell you, it's freaking awesome. This thing is just a corker. It really is.
What do you think about that Brendan O'Brien production? Do you like what he's bringing?
Yeah, I think he's the reason it sounds the way it does. Plus, they always use detuned guitars and stuff, but they were never this heavy. This is in the territory of, I think that band Korn kind of stole the sound out of this band from this album. A lot of bands did, I think, but Korn was one of those that I just never liked.
Well, I mean, we're talking 94. Grunge is a big thing.
Yeah, grunge is a big thing, but this is like heavy metal grunge.
Okay, but Brendan O'Brien at this time is one of the hot producers.
Right.
So,
I'm not a Pearl Jam fan, and I'm not a Stone Temple Pilots fan. I do sort of enjoy Soundgarden now and again. I love Black Hole Sun. I think that's their best song.
That was 94.
There you go.
But I mean, a lot of these, it's easy to get that confused with, the other record because a lot of these records during this time period sounded very similar. That hard edge. It's not metal, but there's a lot of heaviness.
Absolutely.
I swear to God, I thought he had produced this, but that's all right. What do I know? I'm just a monkey.
I can't even see the copyright date on the next one. So, do you have any comments? Do you have any comments on Dogman?
I think you pretty much covered it. I think, but let me ask you this: for the King's X album, that is your favorite record. When you compare this to Dogman, I mean, a lot of people think that the Dogman album is the best record in their catalog.
I think that's just because it's the heaviest up to that point. I mean, they get heavier as we go along. They'll get heavier, and it'll seemingly be like the guitars are being tuned down even lower. Now on Dogman, they went from D to like C or C sharp. And boy, that makes a difference, But they're not the first band to do this. There's a little band out of England called Black Sabbath.
Never heard of them.
And Master Reality is all, except for a few songs, like Children of the Grave, Lord of this World, Into the Void, are all low C sharp tuned.
Well, if we're looking at this catalog, well, we haven't looked at all of them. I'm going to ask you this question later. Let's just go to the next album, Ear Candy. Ear Candy came out in 1996.
Okay.
This album, Brendan O'Brien's not on. Okay, thank you for the props.
I love the cover. It's very psychedelic. It looks kind of like Grateful Dead.
It looks like Kelly. It looks like a mouse cover or one of those.
Wasn't his name Hunter Kelly or something?
I don't know. Well, anyway, this came out. '96, produced by Arnold Lanny. I don't know who that producer is. I'm not sure what he's done. I guess
Yeah, I never
a
heard of
little bit
him.
of trivia though. He was a former member of Frozen Ghost and the band Sheriff. So if that means anything, you familiar with Sheriff and Frozen Ghost?
I've heard of Sheriff.
Frozen Ghost
I've
is a
seen that
Canadian
album over
band,
the years in cutout bins and stuff, and I would just pass it thinking, "Oh, I don't know anything about them."
but he's done a lot of productions. Like he did Our Lady Peace, Finger 11, Simple Plan. But here he did like the Gruffs and he did King's X. But I don't know if he really. Well, I guess he got Producer of the Year in 2000 from the Juno in Canada. Yeah, look, it's very psychedelic.
It is. It's. I don't know how to explain it. This isn't anywhere near as heavy as Dogman.
What do you think of this album, Air Candy? Came out in 1996. What's your thoughts?
Well, it's not as heavy as Dogman. It's really good. Starts out with a tune called "The Train," which is really good. Just a great opening number. I think they opened up Woodstock '94 with "The Train." I've seen that video on YouTube. People, you've got to check them out at Woodstock. It was amazing. They're playing to like 600,000 people. Most of them never heard of them, and they're all digging it. They actually stole that show for that Friday night. Thinking and wondering what I'm going to do. That's Doug just being
Doug.
Doug. Sometime is a great song. Rocker. A Box was actually released as a single with the B-side Freedom, and they never put Freedom on an album until much later, and we'll get to that.
Well, it did come out on the Japanese. The Japanese always get all the great stuff.
That's true.
And it was a bonus
if you
track.
bought the Japanese Ear Candy, you did get the bonus track. But we couldn't get that because, first of all, we're just getting into the internet at this time. And I started out with a thing called Web TV, and most people don't even remember or know
Web
what that is.
TV.
Web TV, yeah. It was, I won't go into it right now, but it was really good. It had 28.8 MPS.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very, 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 very interesting. I spent hours on it learning
Yeah,
things.
but did you have like some kind of controller or something for it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you could you could run it through the television and like you can today. It was
Right.
it was very groundbreaking. There's these three guys in Palo Alto, California that invented it, and Bill Gates liked it so much he paid them buku money. I forgot what it was, $900 million or something, and bought it up and then tried to make a new version of it called Web TV 2 or
I
Web
kind of
TV
remember
Ultimate.
that.
And then the computers kept getting better and better, and Windows was getting better and better. They just killed Web TV. Just absolutely, yeah. They bought it to kill it, and I knew they were going to do that.
But they used to see, but used to watch, like, see videos and stuff on it. It was just like looking at the internet on your TV is all it was, right?
Yeah, it was great. The graphics were unbelievable at that time. It was better than any PC, I thought. Mm-hmm. But anyways, yeah, we go from a box, which there is no room inside a box. I guess it's about the homeless living in boxes. But then there's a really cool, like almost a Jimi Hendrix type rocker called "Looking for Love," which is great. "Mississippi Moon" I believe, is a Ty Tabor song. Yeah. "67" is about 1967. That's a great song. "Lies in the Sand," the ballad of. I don't remember much about that song. I've heard it a lot, but it's very similarly titled to a Dream Theater song called "Lines in the Sand," off of "Falling into Infinity," and the backup vocals is Doug Pinnick. So it's kind of easy to get those two confused.
They're kind of related.
Yeah, and there's a song called "Run," which is really great. "Fathers" is really great. "American Cheese" is Jerry Gaskell singing lead for the first time. "Picture" is really great. It's hard to describe these tunes, so I'm just going to lay them out as song titles. And "Life Going By" is the last song of the album. This is a great album. I love Ear Candy. I think it's one of their best. "Why Atlantic" shut them down after this? They weren't promoting this
Well,
band.
no, but I think that's the end of their contract, and they weren't making Atlantic any money, so
Maybe,
they just let it go out. But when you listen to
Yeah.
this, does this sound like a contract obligation record? You know what I mean? You know, like a lot of bands get to the end of the contract and they go, "Well, we'll just put something out to get out of our contract." Do you hear
Well, I
that
don't really
on
know.
this
I mean,
record?
I could have done some studying with my book here
So
and looked
there's
it
the
all up
book,
and
ladies and
found out
gentlemen.
why the album was made in the first place or how they lost the Atlantic contract.
No,
But I
I
haven't
think it was just the end of the contract. They probably had
done that.
I mean, what number is this? They probably had a 6 album deal.
There's nothing more boring than people looking for things in a book on a video.
Well, no.
But anyways, I like it. What do you think of it?
Uh, to when I listen to it, I do not think that sounds like one of those contractual albums. It just sounds like another King's X album, just another thing in their catalog. I don't know. I know Martin gave it a 10 out of 10. A lot of the
Do you think
reviews
there's
gave
a
it very,
psychedelic? Do you think the cover
yes, it's
matches the
like
music?
I do.
Me too. Yeah.
I think, of course, you've got the title 67. There's a lot of things. It's almost like they're trying to push that. I don't want to use that Beatles psychedelia thing, but definitely, I think that there is where I want to put it, a tie into the 60s, the late
Well,
60s.
look at that. Look at that little
But it
animal
makes
right
total
in the middle.
sense, though, Rand, because these guys
What
love
is
the
that?
Beatle. That's a
That's a beetle.
beetle. Like, looks like a Japanese beetle.
So it might be a little homage to the Beatles.
Could be. Um, but yeah, I don't think this is like one of those records. It's just like some kind of obligation to end their contract. Sounds great. Hey, what a way to wrap up the contract with Atlantic. I think it's good.
Yeah, but check this out. Now, 2 years later, a lot of people don't know about this, and we were talking about it before we went on air. King's X, Best of King's X, 1997. This goes up to Ear Candy. And there's 3 new songs that aren't available anywhere else. So would you like me to read
Sally.
these real quick?
Well, Sally's a new track.
April Showers.
Lover's a new track. And we also get
track.
we also get a live track at the end of it.
Of Over My Head, which has F-bombs galore from courtesy of Doug Pinnick.
Do you know where
But-
that live track was recorded from? Offhand?
I can
Wasn't
look
from
that up.
wasn't from Woodstock, was it?
I don't know. I know that Manic Depression was on Dogman. Let me see here. Yeah, recorded
it was
live
recorded
at Woodstock 2, mixed by Bob Clearmount. You've heard of him.
Bob Clearmount. He mixed Big Bam Boom by Hall & Oates. Bob is, well, obviously he's considered one of the great mixing engineers.
He's a man eater.
He's a man eater. Well, it
Anyway,
made
this
Hall
is
&
worth
Oates sound
getting.
good.
This album is worth getting. This Best of King's X. It's got some of their best songs, and you can't go wrong. But I don't know if it's easy to find.
To be Rant, I have never seen that out in the wild. I know it spans 80, what's it span 87 to 97. It does have It's Love, Mr. Wilson, Faith Hope Love's my favorite record. We all know that. It's hitting all the key tracks. It's got Dogman, Cigarettes, The Train, Looking for Love. And you do get some new tracks. Martin gave this an 8 out of 10.
Okay, I'm just going to check real quick. Oh, yeah, you could get this from the United States from a place called Babs High. $4.99 with $5 shipping.
Discogs?
On Discogs, yeah.
Yeah, but the funny thing is,
most of these are really cheap.
I have never ever seen it.
There's one here for $94. Oh my God, that must be in great shape. Mine's perfect, of course.
Well, the thing
but
is,
I bought mine when it first came out.
This is probably still in print, though.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to go to Amazon.com to find that out.
Anyway,
Check
if
that.
you're
Anybody
just
can check that out.
you're just looking to get into King's X, I'd
Yeah,
say this would be a good way to look at it
that's a good
to get a
start. Yeah.
sampling.
And you can, if you're on any kind of like Amazon Prime or Spotify or YouTube, go ahead and check it out. They probably got the whole album just ready to go for you. Okay, so in 1998, they put out this Tapehead. I hate this cover.
Yeah, it's Doug draped in
Tape,
recording tape.
recording
Was
tape.
it
Yeah, I
2 inch
hate it.
or
It's horrible. But the back cover is kind of cool. That's the shortest you're ever going to see Ty's hair. Guy in the middle.
Yeah, look at that. But this
Really
came out in
short.
98 on Metal Blade.
Yeah. Yeah, Groove Machine, Fade, Over and Over, Oh No, Cupid, Ocean, Little Bit of Soul, Hate You, Higher Than God, Happy, Mr. Evil, World, Walter Bela Farkas, Live Peace in New York. I think that is the lead singer for Galactic Cowboys. We saw them open for King's
Wally
X.
Farkas?
Yeah. I think that's the guy. Because they're good buddies. They toured together. God damn it.
I want to mention this. If you have the Japanese version of the CD, there is yet another bonus track. The track 2 is on the Japanese CD. I don't know if that came out anywhere else, but I thought I'd mention it.
What's the name of the track?
2, TWO.
Oh, really? I don't think I know that.
The Japanese.
That's on Tapehead?
On Tapehead, yeah.
Hmm.
Reviews for this record, it's very favorable across the board. All Music gave it 4 stars. Martin gave it a 10 out of 10. Martin digs all this King's X stuff.
Yeah, so Tapehead, yeah, despite the horrible cover, pretty good album. And like you said, they did lose their contract with Atlantic, so a little label called Metal Blade took them on. Metal Blade picked them up because, they were doing all kinds of cool bands, Merciful Fate, I think, and King Diamond and stuff like that. So, yeah, they just decided to take these guys on in 1998. I'm glad this is what I call a lifeboat album. Because they would have probably just disappeared off the face of the earth without this.
Well, this record and the record before did not even chart.
Right. But I'm just saying, if they didn't get this contract with Metal Blade, who knows what would have happened to them, I mean, they might have got picked up by somebody else. But look who wasn't interested. Capitol, Columbia, Epic, which is Columbia.
Right. Sony.
It's just all these companies weren't interested.
Yeah, well, at least we got
Anyways,
something. I think it's a good effort. I don't.
This album is more of that down-tuned, very sludgy kind of rock. There's not a whole lot of fast songs on here. Most of it's just kind of like, fairly. I like the tune "World" a lot. I listened to that today. That's really good. But I wasn't very. I've had a hard time connecting to this album, and I don't know if it's just because of the cover or just because of the time that I put into it, but I didn't put much time into this. I got to say, I'm kind of guilty of that. Like Ono is spelled O-N-O, like Yoko, but it
could be that
it's pronounced thing. It's pronounced in the album. I mean, in the song, it's like something like, "Oh no, oh no, don't do that."
I look at it as Yoko Ono to me.
Yeah, here's a good picture too behind the disc. I like this photo.
Yeah, that's good.
But anyways, this is worth getting.
I've got it. It's not one of the ones that I turn to. Me personally, I tend to like that whole Sam Taylor era better. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people that are going to say that. And I don't really turn to this one so much, but I can appreciate, I think it's got good production, good songwriting. I mean, if you're
who produced this,
I definitely would go with the Sam Taylor era first, and then branch out from there. In fact, if I was going to recommend this catalog to anybody, I would just start out with the first album and just go from there. And if you'd like it,
This was produced by Ty Tabor and King's X.
I think Ty did a good job. I
Yeah,
don't,
Ty did a great job.
for not really producing anything for the band,
Yeah,
it doesn't sound like, like you have some artists where they produce their own stuff and it's like, well, okay, but you really did need a producer.
Well,
This
he had a
record,
couple
I
of
think
solo
it's,
albums.
yeah, I think it's
He had a couple
fine.
of
I don't
solo
think
albums by then, and he already knew how to produce a record. But yeah, I think the sound of that is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. I have a hard time connecting with some of the songs, and I don't know why. Maybe it's just
Well,
because I
that's
didn't
fine.
spend enough time with them.
Hmm.
That's probably what it is. I'm guilty of that.
Yeah, it happens. So,
So
the next record,
it's
Please Come Home,
yeah.
Mr. Bulbous,
Please Come Home, Mr. Bulbous. Very
2000.
strange looking record.
I don't think that the fonts are good. I don't have a problem with the album cover, but it doesn't scream King's X to me. If you have a great logo like King's X does, why aren't you using the logo?
Exactly. Well,
Because the King's X logo, it's not even a logo. It's just some sans serif font or some sort. It's just not anything memorable.
the logo on Faith Help Love is amazing.
Yeah, well, you have that logo. Use it on here.
Right. And again, this was produced by Ty Tabor and King's X. So they weren't going to do any more outside producers into 2000. Later on they do. But since we're winding it up with this album, I like this album a lot. I really, really love this. I'll just say I love this album. It's very weird. It's so, and what's weird about it is the progressions of the chords. The chords they choose.
Mm-hmm.
It goes in ways that you just wouldn't imagine anybody would do. It's so different than what everybody else was doing. That's what I like about Please Come Home, Mr. Bulbous, mostly. I mean, it's just when you listen to it, first off, the whole album really psychedelic sounding. And the vocals are just, I don't know if they're running them through any kind of treatment or not, but the harmony blends are just great on this. And also, um, like Marshmallow Field, for instance, this track 4, it's just nuts. It sounds like something the Beatles had done in '67 and left it on the shelf, like Smile, and then brought it up to King's X and said, "Here, play this." In 2000.
Yeah, I can hear. I get. Yeah,
I love this record. I really do. It's so different. There's a tune on here called Charlie Sheen, and I was just reading about it in my book. They said it has absolutely nothing to do with the personality in any way, shape, or form of Charlie Sheen. They just liked the words because they thought it would rhyme with the words they were using at the time. They were writing these songs like Doug would write a line, Ty would write a line, Jerry would write a line, and they just put this whole album together like that. They were just running words together. They like Marshmallow Field has no absolute meaning at all, but the chords are just like nobody does things like that, like drops from an E into an E flat and then plays an A and then plays some other weird chord and Ty is really good at that. A lot of people they praise his lead guitar playing, and of course I do too. The guy is a fantastic lead guitarist.
Great
But
tone.
my God, his chording and his rhythm structures are so good, and they're so different, and they're so cool.
Very talented.
It's just there's very few guitar players that their rhythm stands out for me. Like Jimi Hendrix is one, Eddie Van Halen is another, who never get the what they call the accolades for their rhythm playing. And I think Ty Tabor is like the most underrated rhythm guitar player ever, because you can't do a song if you're just soloing. You have to have chords. You have to play rhythm. And I think he's incredible. But anyways, yeah, some of the tunes on here, Fishbowl Man, excellent beginning of the album. I'm a fishbowl man. I was reading about that. Why
That
did they
reminds
choose
me
that?
of Sid Barrett and Pink Floyd.
That's what I'm saying. The whole album is psychedelic. Yeah, it is. Yeah, exactly. And Marshmallow Field. That just sounds like a Klaatu song, don't it?
Yep.
And there's a song called Smudge. And there's a really small little tune that Ty sings called Bittersweet. 2 minutes and 11 seconds. It's gorgeous. Great song. And Move Me Part Two are really long.
Yeah, well, it's
they
like
go
11
quite a
minutes
ways.
together.
Yeah, and the weirdest part about they did something that I absolutely hate. The one thing I
What's
hate
that?
about this album is that when Move Me Part Two is done, you
Mhm.
have to wait like 3.5 minutes to hear the ending, and the ending is some nonsensical stuff, and it sounds like it's in German, and it's just one little sentence. It's just like, wow, and it's done. You have to wait all that time just to hear that. I'm just saying,
Is that
what is
after is I'm trying to remember. Is that after Move Me or is it after Move Me Part 2?
after Move Me Part Two? It's right
Okay.
at the very end. The only other album that I know that does that, that makes you wait like forever for something to happen, is the CD of "Open Your Eyes" by Yes. That song called what's it called?
I got one. The LEO album uh has they do a cover version of Don't Let Me Down by ELO. You have to wait 25 minutes. Is it 25 minutes? Or 21 minutes before that song
Discovery?
plays. No, it's the band called LEO.
Oh, LEO. They said ELO.
No, but it's got
Oh
the
yeah,
member
I
of
saw that you played
Jellyfish.
that on your show.
Yeah.
I never heard
Well,
of that
that
group.
album they do a cover version of Don't Let Me Down at the end, and you have to wait like 20 minutes or
Oh,
19 minutes before it plays.
oh. Well, what the Yes tune is called the Solution,
Mhm.
I think. And you have to wait forever for all these bird noises to start up. And they used it in their concert when I saw them in 1998. They used that as the walk-in music. Uh, look it up real quick.
Sure.
Not that it's important or anything, but I just wanted to use it as a example of doing that. Now I got to shoot it way back up to 1997. But anyway, what are your thoughts on Please Come Home, Mr. Bulbous? Anything you like? You don't
I
like the
think it's
cover.
very I don't
We
care
know
for the
that.
cover. If you have such a great logo like King's X has, why would you use a stupid who did the artwork on here? I don't think it
Yeah,
just
I don't
seems
know. I
cheap.
could look it up.
But I'm like you, I think it's kind of psychedelic. I think it's
I'm almost there. I'm almost there. I'll find the name of that tune. Here it goes. Open
okay.
your eyes. It's called. Oh, that's the single. Sorry. Hey, hey, hey. Oh, it's called The Solution, and there's 2 minutes of silence, and then there's a thing called The Source, which goes 16:22, which is just a bunch of bird noises and stuff like that. Kind of like what they started out with Close to the Edge, but they make you wait 2 minutes in between. I think Camel does that too on one of their albums. Maybe we'll end up running into that when we get to our second part of Camel, which I don't even know when we're doing that, do you?
Yeah. You know what I do find crazy though? King's X is such a great band, so talented that they get this far into their career and they can produce such a good record. They haven't lost a beat. They've changed producers. We had Brendan O'Brien, now Ty's producing. Um, I just
And the
think that
next one,
I just
excuse
think
me, the next
it
one,
just shows me
Overtones,
that they have still a lot in their, wheelhouse. I don't think that they're losing anything after all these years.
oh, they're incredible. The next one that we're going to be going into is called Tones, and I
Mhm.
think that was produced by a guy named Michael Wagner. I don't know much about him, but they really wanted him. They waited a long time to get him. That's why it took so long between Bulbous and Tones.
But I just wanted to say, I think that this album is very melodic. It's heavy. you mentioned that before that, they started getting heavier for Dogman. This is a heavy record. Would you consider this prog metal? I don't know. I'm going to throw that out to you. Would you consider this prog metal?
Yeah, I think Please Come Home, Mr. Bulbous is the proggiest thing they've ever done. It's just crazy. And I think it's, like I said, I think it's the choice of chords more than anything else. It just appeals to me as a guitar player and a piano player. I enjoy chord progressions that don't go to the normal places like Frank Zappa would do, You just never know what this band's going to come up with. And Please Come Home, Mr. Bulbous probably turned a lot of people off. They said, what the hell are these guys doing? I mean, I thought it was fantastic. But
I don't know where this charted.
probably not too high.
I don't think too high. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to look it up. Maybe I can post that later. Anyway, if you're going to rank these four, how would you rank them? What's your favorite?
Okay. Yeah, well, I'm going to go from 4 to 1. Okay. So I'm going to go. Oh, can't do Best of King's X. Sorry, that's going to throw me off. I'm going to go tape. I'm going to go Tapehead, Dogman, Ear Candy, and Please Come Home, Mr. Bulbous.
You're going to go Dogman, Ear Candy. Do it again. You're going to go what?
Tapehead, Tapehead, Dogman, Ear Candy, Please Come Home, Mr. Bulbous.
All right. I'm going to go. I think if I'm going to rank it, boy, that's hard because a lot of these records are not that far off from each other. I guess I'd go Dogman for number 1. I mean, I think that there's a reason that everybody likes it, and it connects. It's heavier than the rest. The production's top notch. It is pretty heavy though, but I think I have to go with Dogman, and I think I would probably go with Ear Candy's awful good. God, I wouldn't plan on ranking. I guess I'm going to go Dogman, Tapehead, Ear Candy, and Mr. Bulbous.
Backwards.
You can't really go along.
You mean 1 to 4?
Yeah.
Okay, so Bulbous will be number 4 for you, and number 1 for me.
There's just slight differences. It's really not.
Oh, I know. They're just sure.
It's just nitpicking. King's X has never put out a bad record. Like I said, I prefer the Sam Taylor stuff. I just produce more. I just like that more melodic, not quite as heavy, more Beatlesque stuff. Hey, I don't have a problem with the harder progressive metal type stuff. I don't have a problem with it, but I just like that particular era. You know what I mean? But this stuff is fine. If you're going to go out and look at the catalog, I could recommend any of these records. Just go out and get one. Okay, if you're going out and you like physical media, go in the used bins if you haven't heard any of this stuff. You are bound to pick up or see a King's X CD in the budget bin. Like I said, this band never sold anything, and a lot of people don't know who they are. And you don't have to spend a lot of money on the catalog if you're looking for something used. But you're liable,
we're doing these shows,
right? To give them a little bit more. Put them out there more, trying to help the band.
More love.
And I can't tell you what's in print still, like on Amazon, but I know that there is a lot of used stuff out there. Yeah, I know that's not going to help the band if you buy used. But I mean, if you're just starting out, trying to get something in your catalog, go out and look in the used bins, because I bet you can find a lot of this stuff. So, but I get whatever you can. And, we do want to hear from you in the chat what you think of these records, because this is a good era for the band. They've progressed, but I do want to hear what your thoughts are on it.
Well, I'll tell you right now, they don't have a bad album.
No, well, not yet, not so far.
No, I mean, I own everything, and I don't think anything is bad. I do have to wrap this up.
Okay,
by the way, Grant.
All right. Well, let's wrap it up. There you go, ladies and gentlemen.
Up.
Let's wrap this dog up. So there you go. The next batch of King's X albums. I want to thank Rand for coming on. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Please leave your comments. Let us know what you think of these records. We'll be looking at some more King's X down the road. All right, Rand, thanks everything.
Hey, thank you.
All right, have a good one.